I've been seeing a lot of screenshots of people losing really good loot from the raiders. Those better not be my subscribers. I made a video 2 months ago about how to prepare for the raiders, and if you followed all the steps on that video, then the raiders shouldn't have gotten anything good from you. I said to make sure that your best stuff had the most amount of walls between it and the outside. If you did that, then you didn't lose your best stuff. Now, the first thing I told you in that video was wrong. The tripwire trap is worthless, but I will talk more about that at the end of this video when I tell you how I feel about this update. First time I tried to prepare my base, I didn't want the AI breaking all my level 3 walls, so I put out decoy chests with a bunch of almost broken armor. Sadly, it didn't work. Kafira set it up to where the survivor raiding your base will always destroy at least 2 walls and then loot from the chests that are available after that is done. As I mentioned in my hidden and future changes video, Kafir will be changing this in the near future. My best guess is they will change it to where a survivor can destroy somewhere around 10 to 20 level 1 walls and then make it to where a level 2 wall counts as 4 or 5 and then a level 3 wall counts as like 15. That's just my best guess based on how they've done things in the past. I will mention what they actually do in a hidden changes video when that update comes out. Currently, there are 4 good tactics to guard your stuff. The first one is to put all your best stuff in the bunkers. I do not recommend doing this because Kafir has stated that they're going to fix it to where AI can raid the bunker lockers in an update coming soon. The second one is to build a wall of horse feeders or tables around your best items or your whole base. First heard about this idea from my subscriber Joe Invin a long time ago, and I thought it was pretty clever, but Kafir has stated that they're going to fix this as well by making it to where all furniture can be broken. My guess is that they will make it to where breaking furniture will make more noise than breaking level 1 walls, but less noise than breaking level 2 walls, so it won't be worth it to use furniture after they fix this. The third one is the one I recommended 2 months ago in my video on how to prepare for the raiders, which is to just put your best stuff behind the most amount of walls. If you have enough level 2 to 3 walls in between your best stuff and the outside, then your best stuff will not get stolen. The fourth one is theoretical. The AI don't start healing until after their health gets below 40 hit points, which means that if you get their health between 40 and 50 and then hit them with a critical from a frost staff, which would do 50 to someone with all SWAT gear, or shoot them with a grenade launcher, which would do 66, then they will die. I haven't done this yet, and it might be difficult to do because the tripwire trap is not getting triggered when your base is getting raided, but it is theoretically a sound tactic. So in my opinion, the best tactic is still the one I offered 2 months ago. If this means you need to start building a lot of walls, I recommend watching my video on how to build level 3 walls. It has been outdated for building level 3 walls since update 1.6, but it is still a great video for building a lot of level 2 walls quickly, which I strongly recommend doing. Do not activate the raiders until you have prepared your base. People have reported losing 30 slots worth of items, so if you don't prepare your base well, then you will lose a lot more than you could possibly gain from raiding. However, if you do it well, you can raid 2 bases and get nothing stolen from you in return, which will make you crazy rich. If you reject the raiders, they will return in 24 hours for another chance. Once your base is ready, you can accept their offer and start getting ready to raid. I recommend bringing 3 to 4 iron hatchets. I do not use normal hatchets when raiding because Nekodesu gave me a tip that iron hatchets make 33% less noise when using them on level 1 walls. And of course, they can also destroy spikes and level 2 walls. You don't want to bring a lot of hatchets because breaking walls cause a lot of noise, and you want to be able to use your noise allowance for opening chests. When you make noise, a noise indicator will appear. The noise indicator has 10 bars and each bar represents 10 points of noise. Every swing of your hatchet makes 3 points worth of noise. This means that breaking a level 1 wall makes 12 noise, breaking a spike makes 6 noise, and breaking level 2 walls makes 18 noise. Opening any kind of chest makes 8 points of noise. Using C4 only makes around 18 points of noise, which I find hilarious. Shooting a gun without a silencer only makes 1 point of noise for every 3 or more shots, which has led me to believe that the hatchets we use have foghorns attached to them, and that is why they make so much more noise than our guns. It seems that toxic abominations also make some noise when they run, but it has been very hard to pin down exactly how much noise they make and when they do it. These are the only things that we've found that make noise. Some have theorized that the motorcycle make noise, but that is not true. Others have said that leaving the area and returning to it makes noise, but I've only noticed this happening when toxic abominations are on the map, so I believe that they are the actual cause of this phenomenon. Taking damage from spikes used to create noise, but now it does not. I'm confident that Kafir will change many of the numbers I just mentioned in their coming update, but I will let you know exactly what changes they make in my next hidden changes video. When the noise indicator hits 24 points of noise, 4 fast biters and 2 floater bloaters will appear. When the noise indicator hits 48 points, the same group will spawn with an additional toxic abomination. When the noise indicator hits somewhere around 72 to 75 points, 4 fast biters and 3 toxic abominations will appear, and when you hit 100 points, the big one and 3 toxic abominations will appear. And this is no ordinary big one. This one was bred to be invincible. He's immune to all environmental damage, including C4, and even if you manage to get his health below 200, he will practically insta-heal. So when you raid a base, you need to get all the loot you want before the indicator hits 100. When you get to the base, use the numbers I listed earlier to plan out the least noisy approach. When you're opening chests, remember that these are copies of real players' bases, and real players love to put their best stuff in the middle of a room, or the furthest away from their workbenches. I don't recommend bringing C4 right now, but this may change as we increase our reputation with the raiders. You can get C4 from red ticket crates in the bunker and chests in the red zone, but the best way to get C4 is from floppy disk crates, which have 2 of them in each one. After you're done raiding, leave the area. As soon as you leave the area, the base will disappear, so make sure you're done before you leave. When you return to your base, it is time to give the raiders their fair share of the loot. The raiders know how much you stole from the base and will want more based on how much you got. However, they have a weird value system. For example, giving them 8 waters is more valuable than giving them a VSS. My favorite things to give the raiders are aluminum wires, bauxite, and beer. I think the raiders really like to party because they really like beer. Or maybe they just really like to pee. Anyways, durability matters, so giving them a bunch of almost broken weapons and armor doesn't work. You will know their level of satisfaction by watching this chat box. If they are saying either of these 2 things, then they will not be satisfied with what you give them. If you don't satisfy them, the 3 of them will come 2 hours later and destroy a ton of your walls and take a ton of loot, so don't piss these guys off. If they say one of these 3 things, then they will be satisfied. As a general rule, you will get 1 point of reputation for every level of satisfaction. But the numbers don't line up perfectly, so I recommend giving some extra items to make sure you get the satisfaction level you are shooting for. Once you satisfy them, they will return in exactly 72 hours. Anywhere from 4 to 24 hours after you finish the targeted raid, you will get raided by a survivor. You will see a notification like this one when you enter your base. If you followed one of the 4 tactics I mentioned earlier, you will not lose your good items. You then have 8 hours to follow his footsteps back to his base and do a revenge raid. In update 1.7.1, Kafir fixed it to where revenge raids are the same as targeted raids, so I recommend approaching it the exact same way I mentioned earlier. Besides the obvious, my favorite items to pick up are food and bunker tickets because I don't want to farm for food, and I really don't want to do easy mode bunker, even though I know I should. You get whatever loot is best for you, but do not loot items that are not in the game yet. Even though you are rated by AI characters, these bases are copies of an actual player's base, which includes players that have hacked or modded accounts. If you bring these items home, you might get flagged as a cheater and get your account wiped. Don't even pick them up. If you don't know what does or doesn't exist in the game, make sure to watch my video on everything that doesn't exist and read the pin post on that video for the things that have been added since I made that video. Well, that's it guys, hope that helps. Personally, I'm disappointed in the fun level of this update. It is obvious that Kafir has put a lot of work into creating this event, but it just isn't that fun for me. Raiding in the context of multiplayer would be a lot of fun, even if it was very simple because of the diversity and challenges of player versus player. This event is complex and in my opinion doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Why the heck is the big one guarding these other players' bases? How about they defend their own bases? That'd make a lot more sense. But the biggest problem that I have with this raiding system is that it is only one-sided. Half of the fun of raiding is to be able to defend your base from the enemies. Now Kafir might respond to that and say that it's too difficult to do that with AI and not let real players get way too rich, which is a fair point. I realize that Kafir's real intent behind this update is to create and test out a base raiding system that allows them to control who gets raided so that they can prevent a player from getting completely wiped off the map. This is very smart and I think they're onto something good, but I still think having the big one show up is stupid. That's just my opinion. Kafir asked us to give our feedback to help them make new iterations of this event, so consider mine given. Thank you guys for praying for my wife. I posted a video asking you guys to pray for her and then went to bed. That next morning we experienced a huge turnaround and she's getting much better. So I should be able to make a few videos this week. Thanks again for doing that. Alright guys, I'll see you next time.